Are you a farmer or butcher ready to master direct-to-consumer marketing and meat success? Then you're in the right place. I'm Jared Aachen, the founder of Chop Local. Each episode of this podcast features interviews with farmers and butchers who have built successful direct-to-consumer meat businesses, and they're going to share their secrets for success with you. From actionable tips to inspiring stories, this podcast has ingredients you will need to succeed in the meat business. After the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social. And check out the rest of our educational resources at choplocaluniversity.com. Now, let's turn it over to my business partner, Katie, to get started.
Before we get into this next episode, I wanted to let you know about one of our other resources that we offer. If you are in a hurry to see meat marketing results fast, then the Meat Commerce Essentials course is perfect for you. It covers everything that you need to know to sell meat online successfully, and it's presented in short video snippets to get you the info that you need to put into action as quickly as possible. For a limited time, we're offering our podcast listeners $100 off the course using coupon code POD100. That's POD100. Just visit choplocaluniversity.com to find the course and be sure to enter POD100 at checkout. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Meat Success Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Olthoff. I'm the co-founder of Chop Local and Chop Local University, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We don't have an interview today. What you're going to get in this episode are just kind of some tips from me about projects that you can do this winter that will have a really lasting impact on your meat business and your meat marketing. If you've been listening to this for long, you know that I don't love social media. I know that it's one of those things that we need to do as small business owners, but it feels to me like it takes a lot of time and it never ends, right? I love projects that are mostly one and done, low cost. You can kind of just take care of them and then they continue to have an impact. And so now that farmers market seasons are wrapping up, I know some of you are really busy with holiday sales if you have an e-commerce store, but some of you that may not have an e-commerce store don't have that piece of your business. And so you're starting to get into that winter office season where you're planning for next year. And I think that these 4 things that I'm going to go over today are worth your time this winter. And like I said, will continue to impact your business throughout 2026 and beyond. So let's go ahead and get started with number 1, which is work on your SEO. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and if you listen to our recent episode with Kelly, you would know that there are a lot of different things that you can do for SEO on your website or on your online store, but there are also some things that you can do even if you don't have a website or online store. And again, these are pretty much one and done projects. Just sit down and spend a couple hours on it, and you don't have to think about it for a long term. You don't have to think about it again for quite a while. So the first part of this is to set up a Google Business Profile. Google Business Profile it's part of Google, and it's what shows up in search results or what shows up on the search map. So if you've ever searched for a local business like a plumber in your town, or maybe you're looking for, you're traveling and you're looking for a restaurant near you, that map comes up and there's maybe local businesses listed, sometimes on the side, on the right hand side, or on the top. If you're on your phone, it will also give you more information about local businesses. That is your Google Business Profile. If you Google Business Profile, you will pretty quickly find instructions on how to set it up. And it's really just a form that you go through and you add your basic information about your business. Now, if you Google your business and it already shows up, but you didn't set it up, that's because Google has found that information online and they've kind of filled it in for you. But there's usually a button that says claim your business or claim your profile. And if you click on that, then you can kind of edit it the way that you want to. Things that you might want to include in there are if you have a brick and mortar, you want to show photos. If you just have a farmer's market business, you still want to show photos of your product, maybe photos of people at the farmer's market booth or what your booth looks like. You can show photos of your farm and your production practices. And there's also space for you to write a short description. And then there's a place for people to leave reviews. Having this Google business profile is going to help you show up in search results when people are searching for meat in their area or searching for farms in their area. And again, you don't even have to have a website in order to have a Google business profile. So that's one of the first things that I would recommend. The second part of SEO that you can do, again without a website, is submit your information to directories online. A directory is basically a listing of a lot of different farms, and there are several nationwide directories that are free and specific for farms. And then there are probably also directories at your state level. Your state Department of Ag may have one. If you're selling beef, your state beef council may have a directory. Your state farm bureau may have a directory. The nationwide directories that I would recommend would be foodmarketmaker.com. That's foodmarketmaker.com, localharvest.org, and then USDA has one that's called USDA localfoodportal.com. And by listing your information in there, it can help you get found online by new customers. If you do have a website, listing your website in there is actually great for SEO because it signals to Google that you are a legitimate company and that you have basically a network online of people that are willing to post your link and sort of vouch for you. So it adds to the authority of your website. That may be a little bit deep for you, but it is really valuable. So for SEO, do those two things. Set up a Google business profile and list your farm in as many directories as you can possibly find. When you do these two things, it is important that your name, address, and phone number that you list are consistent across all of these things, because again, that helps Google know that you are a legitimate company that they should be recommending to customers. All right, like I said, that'll take you a couple hours and then you'll be done and you don't need to think about it again, okay? All right, the second thing that I recommend is that you take some time to gather customer reviews. Customer reviews are such a powerful piece that you can use in your marketing. And especially if you don't have an online store or you're not using email marketing, you may not have an automated way to gather customer reviews. But I promise you that it will be worth your time to reach out to some of your best customers. Either send them an email, send them a text, even just post on your Facebook page or Instagram and ask them to post a review. Now, if you have a website and you have a way to gather those reviews right on the website, fantastic. You can have them do it there. You can also ask them to leave reviews on your Facebook page if you have a Facebook page. You can have them just email you reviews if you don't have either of those things. If you've set up your Google business profile, you can have them leave reviews on your Google business profile. But the main point here is that I really want you to take the time to ask customers for reviews and get their feedback. Positive or negative. If you get negative feedback, that is a way for you to grow. I know it hurts to hear sometimes, but hopefully it will give you some ideas of what you can improve, which of course will impact your business in the future. But if you get positive reviews, then you can create graphics to use those in social media. You can use those in your email marketing. You can post those to your Google business profile just in the description by putting some quotes and reviews, the quotes with the reviews on them. You can add them to your website or add them to your product descriptions. There's so many ways to use customer reviews in your marketing, and they're so powerful. It's so much better to hear from another customer. It's so much better for a potential customer to hear from another customer that they were pleased with your products than it is for you, the farmer, who of course loves your products, to say, yeah, our products are great, people love them. If they can get the what we call social proof, if customers can hear from other people that they've been happy with you, that is super, super powerful. I know that some people worry that when they put out a call for reviews, they will get negative reviews. It really rarely happens, especially with a small business. Most of the time, most people feel more comfortable leaving a negative review for a corporation or a bigger business. But if they have been a customer of yours and they've purchased from you, especially more than once, more than likely they're going to leave a positive review, or they may just not respond at all. All right, so we talked a little bit about SEO. We talked about gathering customer reviews. Spend time doing that so that you can use them in your marketing throughout the entire year. Number 3 that I think is completely worth your time. This one takes maybe a little bit more skill, but it is so valuable to have mouth-watering product photos. And so I think winter is a great time to either hire someone to take some photos of your products or start to really work on your photography yourself to get better product photos. We've been talking a lot about product photos internally with our team at Chop Local, Sierra and I. And some of her tips are really to use natural light. And as I'm recording this right now, we got a foot of snow last weekend, literally, and the sunlight is reflecting off of it, and it's so much brighter in my house than it normally is. Today would be a great today would be a great day for me to thaw out some meat and take some pretty photos with this beautiful natural light that's coming in right now. If you look around, your photos don't have to look completely staged and professional, but if you look around at food photos online, you'll see that a lot of times they will kind of layer items off to the side, meaning maybe you put some tomatoes off to the side, you put some sprigs of rosemary around your steaks on the cutting board. Using a cutting board with your logo on it is another great tip for beautiful product photos. Or if there are certain colors in your logo or in your branding, you can get a dish towel in those colors and layer it underneath the cutting board or under the plate and add some color. There's a lot of creative things that you can do, and I realize that taking beautiful product photos is a skill, but now is a great time to experiment with it if you have time during the day to do that. The caveat I will say about taking product photos in the winter is that when we cook the products, it's oftentimes evening, and we don't have that natural light because it gets dark so early. So that can be a little bit difficult. But if you were going to do some thawed, raw product photos outside of the package, now would be a great time to do it. And I will say we recommend photos outside of the package. Photos in the backpack, they just aren't mouth-watering. They might show the quality sometimes if you can kind of see through that backpack, but they don't make my stomach growl. Then that's what I want your marketing to do, okay? But if you spend time on these product photos or you hire someone to do product photos for you, again, you're going to be able to use those photos over and over and over again. You're going to use them on an online store if you have it. You're going to use them in print materials at the farmer's market or for a banner or for a sign. You're going to use them in your social media, and you're going to be so glad that you have them and that they look very authentic and they represent your products well. So definitely worth the time to do. All right, and the fourth thing on the list here is to create an automated welcome sequence for your email subscribers. I could probably spend an entire episode talking about email and talking about how to create a welcome sequence for your email subscribers. But I'm going to keep it kind of brief today. I will point you towards, we have a webinar about email marketing. Maybe we'll publish it as a podcast episode in the future too, but it's on our YouTube channel about email marketing. And it goes through this in a little bit more detail, but using almost any email service, you can create what's called a welcome sequence. And a welcome sequence is a series of emails that your subscribers will get when they sign up for your email list. And you don't have to go in and send those emails yourself. It will send them for you without you lifting a finger. So what I love about this is that if you get it set up, then when you get busy during the season, whether it's calving season or it's farmers market season or it's just a busy time of year for you, your new email subscribers can still get emails from you even if you don't have time to sit down and write one out regularly. So we recommend a welcome sequence that is probably 4 to 8 emails minimum. And it is going, email number 1 is going to introduce you and thank them for joining your email list. Email number 2 is maybe going to talk a little bit more about how you produce your meat. Email number 3 is going to talk about how they can purchase it. Can they find you at farmers markets? Can they order from an online store? Do you ship it? Where can they pick it up? All of those details. And then email number 4, one option would be to include those reviews from customers that I had you gather in step number 2. Okay, so those are just 4 examples. We like to cover those 4 things in the 4 emails. But the idea here is really that you've gained an email subscriber. They might not have purchased from you in the past. And so you want to give them all the information that they need to help them feel confident in making a decision to become a customer of yours. And so you think about the unique attributes of your farm that they care about. You don't need to give them the whole history of your family and the farm, but you need to think about the things that they care about. And maybe that is the environmental practices, maybe it's animal welfare, maybe it's the quality of the meat that you produce because of the genetics or your feed regimen or whatever it may be. You need to tell them how they can purchase it, and you need to provide them with that social proof that shows that other people have purchased it in the past and they were pleased with it. If these email subscribers have already been customers of yours, this is going to just make them feel even better about getting to know you better and feeling more comfortable again with their purchase and with future purchases. Some other ideas for welcome sequences just off the top of my head would be to include, I said customer reviews, but talk about some of your best selling products. Talk about some of your unique products that they might not be able to get easily in other places. Share some family recipes and some ways that you like to cook things. For example, if you have an overstock of short ribs right now, maybe you share some recipes about, or in general, you have an overstock of short ribs. You can share some short ribs recipes that will encourage people that even if they've purchased ground beef or steaks from you, you might encourage them to purchase short ribs that way. We also like to include general things about meat storage. How long can you store it in the freezer? What are some good ways to thaw it? How should you salt and season it? What are some tips for cooking it? Those types of things, again, I keep saying this, but it makes your customers feel more confident in purchasing directly from you when they feel comfortable with how they are going to cook the meat as well. Depending on what email service you use, there are some technical pieces here to get it set up. I wouldn't say that it is the hardest thing ever, but if you have trouble with technology, it can be a little bit confusing. And so you will have to spend some time Googling how to do this or get some help from the platform itself to help you get that set up. We love MailChimp, but to do this on MailChimp, you do have to have a paid plan. Again, I totally feel like it's worth it. Even if you don't want to do a paid plan, it is worth your time to sit down and write out these emails anyway, because you can just create a stockpile of these email drafts. And then when you are busy, even if you don't have a welcome sequence, when you are busy, you can just send out a quick email that says, hey, by the way, did you know that if you order a quarter of beef, you can store it in your freezer for 12 months, no problem? Click the link here to buy. So you have those emails that have information that is useful to your customers, and you can have a call to action to encourage them to make a purchase, and you can send that out really quickly. So Either create a welcome sequence or at least draft about a dozen emails so that you have those when time gets busier later on in the year. All right, so I said I would go through those pretty briefly. We do have more resources on our YouTube channel as well as at choplocaluniversity.com that can help you with all four of these things, really. But just going over them again really quickly, it was work on your SEO by creating a Google business profile and adding your business to directories online. Number 2, gather customer reviews so that you can use them in all of your marketing going forward. Number 3, get some mouth-watering product photos, whether that means that you learn how to take those photos yourself or you hire somebody to do it. Even if you hire somebody, it's relatively low cost. And again, you're going to use those photos over and over and over again. And then the fourth tip is to create an automated welcome sequence for your email subscribers or draft out several emails so that you have those throughout the year. You may have heard me talk a little bit about the marketing funnel in the past, and I just want to show you how these things fit into your marketing funnel, okay? The marketing funnel is literally, picture a funnel. And I like to picture that the funnel is like a colander that has holes on the side of it, right? So you want a lot of people to come into the funnel because some of them are going to fall out these holes on the side, but some of them are going to come straight out the bottom and become a customer. So to get a lot of people into the funnel, you have to make them aware of your business. And SEO, search engine optimization, that Google business profile, and those directories, that is what we would call top of the funnel awareness. You are making people aware of your business in that step. Then to get them to move through the funnel and not fall out the holes in the side, you've really got to convince them that they should be purchasing directly from you. And that's where the customer reviews, the mouth-watering product photos come into play because it shows them what to expect and hopefully it's showing them something really outstanding. And then even further towards the bottom of the funnel, a lot of times one of the last things that we encourage people to do as part of this process is sign up for our emails because then you'll get a coupon, right? And so then when they sign up for the emails, you're sending them a coupon in that welcome sequence and you're really answering all of their questions, any last minute questions that they or hesitations that they might have before they buy. You can take care of that in your welcome sequence and give them a coupon to incentivize them to become a customer. And at that point, you've moved them all the way through the marketing funnel. All right, everyone, I hope that this was helpful for you and gave you some quick ideas of projects that are worth your time this winter because they are going to impact and improve your marketing in 2026 and beyond.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Meet Success. We hope this episode gave you fresh insights and inspiration to beef up your meat marketing. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, follow us on social, and share with your fellow farmers and butchers. Have questions or ideas for future podcasts? Reach out to choplocaluniversity.com. Until next time, remember, there's more than one recipe for meat success.